Metroid Prime 4 contains plenty of easily missed items and scans, and several of these scans can be missed permanently, preventing a true completionist run. This guide series will be organized so that 100% of items and logbook scans can be obtained in an efficient manner, with minimal time wasted. We'll also be covering strategies that will make each boss manageable even on hard difficulty. As usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. An important note is that we don't need to scan absolutely everything in the game for 100% scans, just those that will be registered in our logbook. There are 3 such scans in the UTO Research Center that we start in. Entering scan mode with the X button, we can use the left trigger to scan the space pirates, and there are 2 variants, injured and uninjured. I scanned both of them just to be safe. We'll also need to scan the generic Galactic Federation trooper, of which there are several fighting the space pirates. Once we've completed those 2 scans, our only objective will be to get through the rest of the research center as quickly as possible, as our final required scan is found at the last encounter. Feel free to scan other objects if you're interested in lore, but it's not necessary. Some doors here will require us to scan them to open up, and other obstacles require explosives to destroy. After getting our first energy tank, which is impossible to miss, we will find 2 lock-on gates, which serve as a sort of tutorial for how to use free aim. This will be important for the upcoming encounter. You can pause now if you want to avoid spoilers, just make sure to scan the upcoming boss before defeating it. Aberax is a relatively easy boss. After scanning it, we can use free aim to target the 4 blue growths around its torso. After all of the revealed ones are destroyed, a large growth on its belly will be exposed. Shooting this will deal heavy damage, and for the most part, we can avoid Aberax's attacks by dodging to the side, jumping over them, or pressing the Y button to shift into Morph Ball, which will allow us to pass underneath them. We should have the following 3 scans before defeating Aberax, those being Space Pirate, Galactic Federation Trooper, and Aberax. Defeating Aberax will lead to a short cutscene and bring us to a new area. Once there, we'll lose most of our abilities and upgrades and be unable to so much as open a door. For now, we'll have to follow flying drones around, which will do the work for us. After the first drone flies off, we can go down a side passage to reach and activate a second flying drone, then follow it back upstairs and through a door to the east. After it leads us across a bridge, we can stare at the statue it embeds itself into, then follow it in a trance to get our first upgrade, the Sidekick Crystal and Beam. With this, we can scan certain objects like the nodes beneath the bridges to activate them, and our beam will also now work to open basic doors. We can return to the central lift and scan the key above it to activate it. At the top, we'll need to scan the main statue, then interact with the portal. Doing so will transport us to the first main zone of the game, Fury Green. There are a lot of required scans in the opening area of this zone, many of which are wildlife that will flee if we get too close, so we'll want to move through slowly as we collect them. Just to our right is the first lore tablet that we will need to scan. As we go through this first chamber, we can also scan Empress Elu, Sicklefly, Mireworms, Cranes, Red Relic Ants, and Shimmer Straps. As we enter the second chamber, we can scan the nearby Glisser beetles as well as the first hostile wildlife, homing spores. Entering a third chamber and following a cutscene, we'll scan another lore tablet nearby. There are several Glottograppers that need to be scanned as we move towards the next chamber. Root spurs will emerge from the shallow water in the next room, and after scanning them, we can shoot them until they resubmerge, then quickly move along the edge of the water to avoid taking damage. There are a few more scans we can get before reaching our next upgrade, those being the gas spore, the third lore entry nearby, and Sidekick platforms, which we can summon and then scan, although we won't be able to actually use them until we get a later upgrade. Through a door to the north is a scout bot, which we'll need to scan, and these will become more important once we unlock the lightning shot later in the game. For now, feel free to mark its location on your map. We'll then need to move into the next chamber, scan a bristle ward, and morph ball to go through a side path to reach our next upgrade. After quickly scanning the fourth lore tablet nearby, we can go ahead and grab the Sidekick Glove upgrade. This upgrade will allow us to manipulate new objects while in scanner mode, accessing additional areas. There's another piece of tech that we'll want to scan within one of those doors, a sidekick container. There are only a few of these scattered throughout the game, and we need to scan at least one on our journey for 100% scans. After scanning it, we can then manipulate the orb with our sidekick glove to open the container and reveal our second energy tank upgrade. Entering the next chamber, we'll then scan the hostile shrine and move north through a couple chambers to reach our first save station, and this too can be scanned for a logbook entry. I'll give a brief look at all of the scans we should now have up to this point, as this particular section of the game is dense with them. We should also have a new objective at this point, a distress beacon. To reach it, we'll need to backtrack a short distance, then go through a new path only accessible in morph ball form. There is a rare exception among the wildlife here, which is a skittering bug that can be scanned, but doesn't seem to have a logbook entry associated with it. Following this linear path will bring us near a currently inaccessible item. You can mark it on your map if you want, but it really isn't necessary. We'll continue down this path until reaching a large chamber with the first NPC, Mackenzie. After destroying 2 of the 4 pods keeping him suspended, we'll be attacked by a few waves of grievers. We'll need to scan one for our logbook, then defeat all of them. Given the way they dodge charged shots, I find a steady stream of uncharged shots to be the quickest method of dispatching them. Once they're all defeated, we'll finally rescue Mackenzie and break the restraint on the pod he dangles from. We can then scan Mackenzie for our logbook and grab the missile launcher upgrade from within the pod. The missile launcher will allow us to move through new obstacles and defeat those pesky root spurs more quickly. We'll pass yet another inaccessible item as we head back to our last save station. With our upgrades, we can now head down a new path to the south, grabbing our first missile expansion along the way. Defeating the enemies in the next chamber, we can then scan our 5th lore tablet before moving on to a long bridge section. All we need to do here is make sure that we keep Mackenzie alive while moving across it, defeating waves of enemies along the way. In the chamber that follows, we'll use our Sidekick Glove and Missile Launcher abilities to open an alien container, which has the control beam upgrade held inside. With that, we can shoot and control a beam to hit a hidden button, opening the way forward. This will bring us to the main base of operations for the Galactic Federation NPCs that we find throughout our journey, along with a second save station. We'll need to wait for Mackenzie to try his hand at the nearby terminal, then interact with it ourselves. At this point, the nearby bomb slot will power on, and while we can't use it just yet, we can still scan it for our logbook. To progress, we need to shoot another control beam through the nearby portal to hit the southern door on the other side. This will open it for us. We'll pass another item that we need the Morph Ball Bomb to obtain, then enter a room and scan a nearby statue to activate a terminal where green crystals can be deposited for various upgrades, but more on that later. Moving further south, we'll then need to stand on a pressure plate and use the control beam to hit 3 targets in one go. This serves as a sort of tutorial for what will need to be done in an upcoming encounter. Before reaching the boss chamber, there are 4 statues that can be scanned in a long hallway, each of which offers a new lore entry in our logbook. There are 3 scans that we need to get in the upcoming encounter, 2 of which are missable, so I urge everyone to watch on even if there are spoilers. The first required scan is Carvex, which we can get by scanning its main body. The second required scan is the Carvex Vine, and the third is the Carvex Pollen Sac. These last 2 scans must be done during the boss fight and will be unobtainable after the fact, so make sure they are registered in your logbook before proceeding with the fight. Carvex has 2 main phases that it alternates between. In the first, we need to destroy all summoned vines simultaneously. First by destroying the rough exterior on all vines, then by deploying a control beam to destroy all present and now vulnerable vines in a single shot. This will lead into the second phase, where the core of Carvex is exposed, and we must damage it while avoiding ground spikes. Rinse and repeat until Carvex is finally defeated. We'll get the Psychic Bomb upgrade as our reward, and we can then use that to activate the Sacred Shrine, which will also need to be scanned for our logbook. Once we've activated the shrine, we can look towards the head of it to collect our first of 5 teleporter keys. The Psychic Bomb will allow us to take a side path that leads back to home base, and will pass another inaccessible item along the way. There are some green crystals along this path too, and we should scan them before destroying them for our logbook. If for some reason you missed scanning the main Carvex boss, you can go insert a crystal in an eastern room, then manipulate the nearby terminal to display a hologram of it for scanning and additional lore. Continuing on back to home base, we'll insert our meager green crystals into the receptacle, then move into the Morph Ball tunnel. We can now access the missile expansion along the path with a Psychic Bomb. We'll go ahead and take this opportunity to save, then use our Morph Ball bomb to activate the bomb slot to the east. Moving along this path will eventually bring us to a cargo launcher, which we need to scan for our logbook. We can charge a Psychic Bomb so that it's able to be thrown into the raised bomb slot nearby, which will activate the launcher, completing our first trip through Fury Green. The first use of the cargo launcher will malfunction, landing us in Soul Valley, just outside the entrance to Voltforge. We'll cover that in the next part of this guide series. For now, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the comments where I will do my best to help. If you want to see more great content, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day. If you're here today, have a great Friday and a great weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.